Hey, welcome back to my Facebook Live. This is the fifth day that I'm going live in a row. I appreciate you guys joining me going live at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time every single day here on Facebook as well as over on YouTube. So join me on either one of those places. I am broadcasting it to multiple different places. So doing some different things, trying some different formats, just trying to see how I can best serve you. And so this time, instead of just riffing on whatever came to my mind, I did write down some notes here. So I'm going to look at my notebook every once in a while. But I want to go ahead and jump right into today's topic, which is to stop trying to be perfect and start being more intentional and purposeful. So what do I mean by that? Well, the first thing is that there. First, let's talk about perfection. There is really, well, Tony Robbins puts it this way: perfection is the lowest standard because it is no standard, meaning nobody can really define what perfect is. When you say, well, what's your perfect program? What's your perfect business? How would your perfect day look? You define it, and then you start thinking about it and go, oh, but what about this? Or I could tweak this, or I could do this. So it's really no standard, because if you are waiting for perfect, if you are trying to be perfect, you will never, ever launch. You will never, ever scale. You will never, ever get to your next level, because you'll never do anything. You'll always be staying at trying to get this first thing perfect and off the ground. So with that being said, how do we then move forward? Well, it's more about being intentional and being purposeful with what we're doing. Stop trying to be perfect, start being purposeful, looking for, how can I move this forward? How can I be intentional? Does this align with what the end result is that I want? That I want to launch my course. I want to write my book. I want to grow my business from 5 figures a month to 6 figures a month, or from 5 figures a year to 6 figures a year. What is it that you want to do? And then plan your goals, plan your life, plan your days around that intention and that purpose, moving towards something that's tangible and something that you can define. So how do we do that? Well, the first step is you've got to create smartery goals. Yes, that is smartery. That's SMARTERY. And what is smartery? Well, your goals need to meet some specific parameters to move you forward. Now, a lot of people talk about SMART goals. SMART goals were specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound, right? And the reason why I have trouble remembering that is because I've changed that up. So part of this I got from Michael Hyatt, if any of you follow him, but then I went and I just amended it just a little bit more to make it just a little more effective. And so first off, we're going to start with specific. Yes, S still stands for specific. Your goals have to be specific. To make them specific, that's where the rest of the smartery comes in, or the martery, as it were. You've got to make them measurable. What does that mean to make them measurable? Not just have like a did I do it or didn't I? You've got to have milestones along the way. If it's an annual goal, if it's going to take you 12 months to get there, then what are the quarterly goals that you need to get there? What are the monthly goals that you need to get there? What are the weekly? What are the daily things you have to do? So it's got to be measurable, where you can measure your progress. Okay. The A in smartery stands for actionable. So you've got to get that specific, that you can literally think, what is the next right step? What are the next 3 right steps? You've got to be able to list actions in your goal. And when you write your goal out, write out the next 3 right steps that you need to do to brainstorm, to get you moving. The R, this is where we really start to depart. So actionable was different than achievable, but R really throws a monkey wrench in the traditional way of looking at goals, and it is risky. So a study was done coming out of Harvard, where what they did was they had 2 groups of people. One group set realistic or attainable goals, and another group set risky goals that was going to cause them to stretch. Now, those who were in the attainable group, only 45% actually achieved their goals, as opposed to those who set risky goals. 80% of those attained their goals. 80% versus 45%. 80% of the risky goal setters actually achieve their goals. 45%, only 45% attain their goals. Now, and the reason why I'm spending a little bit of time here on this is because this is really the linchpin. This is the key to the Smartery goal system. Now, here's another interesting fact. Out of the 45% who achieve their goals, out of the 45%, only 70% were happy with their progress. So there was still 30% who wasn't happy, even though they achieved their goals. That's out of the 45%. Obviously, the 55% who didn't achieve their goals, they were dissatisfied totally. Now, out of the ones who set risky goals, 100%, whether they achieved it or not, whether they were the 80% or the 20%, whether they achieved it or not, 100% of the people who set risky goals were satisfied with what they accomplished, with their progress. And the reason being is because when they set a risky goal, even if they didn't achieve it, they were still going further than what they thought they could go by setting an achievable goal. That's why risky is so important. So you'll always go further when you set something a little bit out of your, not a little bit, but a little bit out of your comfort zone. Now, you got to make sure that you're past your comfort zone, you're into your discomfort zone, but you're not in the delusional zone. I mean, listen, guys, I could set a goal to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback by next January or February, whenever the Super Bowl is next year, but that's just not going to happen, right? Like, that's completely delusional. Losing 50 pounds by then, that's probably maybe a little bit discomfort, maybe a little scary for me. I haven't done the math. Maybe it would be, maybe it wouldn't be, but that's something that I might go, well, I'm it's risky. Okay. So that's the idea, guys, is think about, so specific, measurable, actionable, risky. Now, what does so that's the SMAR, right? What does the T stand for? T stands for time keyed. Now, what is different between time keyed and time bound? Time bound is just that. You have a start date, you have an end date. I'm going to start this on January 1st. I'm going to end it on December 31st. But there's so many other factors when it comes to setting a powerful goal than just beginning and end. Now, if it's an achievement goal, you definitely need an end date. That's how you know, did we accomplish it or not? But along the way, there can be other factors like that are time keyed, like how many days a week will I work on this goal? How, at what time of day will I work on this goal? For how long will I work on this goal? So you can set those things that, and again, and those also apply to habit goals. So if you're trying to install the habit of running, you could say, I will run every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. for 1/2 hour. Right? That's several time keys in that goal. You're saying Monday through Friday for at 7 a.m. That's the time you're going to start, and how long you're going to work on it is for a 1/2 hour. You may even say for the next 90 days, and that puts an end date on your run goal, or until the marathon on September 25th, or whatever it is that you're working towards, if that's the case. So or if it's just a habit you're trying to install, you don't have to have an end date. But even if it's an achievement goal of like moving from $5,000 a month to $6,000 a month, we will go from 5-figure months to 6, or again, specific, right? $100,000. We will be generating $100,000 in revenue by November 30th, 2023. Okay, so now let's talk about, so you got the end date. So as you think about that, when are you going to work on that? How long are you going to work on that? What days are you going to work on that goal? What are the specific things you're going to do? And you can even create smaller goals in relation to that. And that's a whole nother video. So time keyed. All right. Now, the E in Smartery is exciting. Your goals need to be exciting. So obviously that's like a no-brainer. Like, well, if I'm setting the goal, then it should be exciting to me. However, sometimes we get what I call good for you goals. Good for you goals are goals that are good for you, but not necessarily exciting. Like, Josh, it'd be good for you to lose 50 pounds. Well, that's not necessarily exciting. So how do I make that goal that's good for me, or good for my business, or good for my family, or good for whatever it might be, that's not intrinsically exciting, meaning that I'm not personally like stoked to do it or to perform the daily acts it will take to reach it? How do I make it exciting? Well, that's where you find something. So for example, Josh, you need to lose 50 pounds. Okay, so my goal is to lose 50 pounds, which by the way, guys, this is really a goal, which is why I keep coming back to it. Please keep cheering me on. I've lost 20 pounds so far. I got another 50 to go. So I'm excited. Anyhow, the way I make this goal exciting is by incorporating something during the act. So for me, it's a daily walk. Okay. Or exercise or eating or drinking nothing but water and, whatever it might be. But if there's like specifically, like, for example, exercise, I do something that makes it exciting. So maybe for you, now I won't tell you what I do, but for you, maybe it's, I get to listen to my favorite podcast uninterrupted. Maybe it's, I get to listen I love Frank Sinatra. Maybe it's, I get to listen to Frank Sinatra while I do this task. I get to, instead of listening to, mind-numbing Disney songs or some other kids thing, right? When you got 6 kids, that's like all you listen to, listening to the Bluey soundtrack like 24/7. Maybe it's that I get to watch something while I'm doing, while I'm on the treadmill. I can watch an episode of my favorite show. I can watch an episode of Star Trek. I'm excited about that. Whatever it might be, you have to make your goals exciting. Now, if they're intrinsically exciting, meaning that you are excited for these goals, then that's easy. When they're not, when they're a good for you goal, good for you, because it'd be good for you to do it, then you've got to find a way to make it exciting. Otherwise, you're going to abandon the goal, and your good for you goal will never get done. Okay. So specific, measurable, actionable, risky, time keyed, exciting, and then the last R is relevant. So I've moved relevant to the end. The reason why is because I'm not talking about, is this goal relevant to you personally? I mean, it should be, right? Again, that's a no-brainer. This is gut check time. This is when you look at, say you've set 8 annual goals. This is when you look across the board at all 8 of them. Are they relevant in the sense of, do all 8 of them align? Or are they taking you in different directions? I want to start a business, but I also want to promote at my current job. Well, you got one or the other, right? That they're not relevant. They're not aligned. That's great that you want to promote while you're there, but is that going to allow you to focus on starting your business? Or do you need to say, I am content to where I'm at my job. I'm still going to do a great job, still going to give 100% where I'm at, but my goal for this year is to get my personal business off the ground so that I can quit. Now that's an aligned goal, so that I can quit this job. That's aligned. My goal is to quit this job by December 31st. My goal is to have my business replacing my income by December 31st. Those are aligned goals. So are they relevant? Are they relevant to each other? Are they relevant to you in the sense of your values? Again, are you doing things just for the paycheck, for what you think is the glory, what you think is the great reward? Or are you doing things because it comes from inside? It comes from that purpose that you have. You're doing it intentionally and purposefully. So again, I want to start my own business, but I also want to become a certified funnel builder. Well, is that intrinsic to who you and what you want to do? I've had a lot of those come up in my life, in my experience. I've had a lot of those where I've said, okay, I need to do this. This is what I want to do for my business. And then, but here's another great opportunity. Maybe I should do that too. No, that's going to take away time from this goal. So this is what I'm talking about with relevant. Are they aligned with each other? Are they aligned with what you want to become, with whom you want to become, and with your ultimate vision for yourself, your intentionality, your purpose in life? And then the why at the end, so SMARTY, smartery, is that every goal needs a why. You need to gut check yourself. You need to figure out why. You need to dig down deep, and not just surface level why. You need to go down what I call 7 layers deep. I learned this from Dean Graziosi, who learned it from, I think, Joe Polish, but don't quote me on that part. Just quote me on the part that I learned it from Dean, as he is my mentor. So you've got to ask yourself, okay, why do I want to be successful? Let's say that's your goal. I want to be successful. And I know that doesn't fit the Smartery framework. I'm just pulling something here really generic so that we can keep moving forward. But I want to be successful. Okay, well, why do you want to be successful? Because I want to give my kids a better life. Well, why do you want to give your kids a better life? Because I didn't have choices and opportunities as a kid myself. Well, and I want to give that to them. Well, why do you want to give them choices and opportunities? Because I want them to see, right? So you keep going. What you do is you say, why this? Why my goal? And then you ask why of the answer. and then why of that answer, and why of that 7 times. And then that extracts from deep within you. That'll pull things out that you didn't even think were there. And you'll realize, well, that's why I'm doing this. And they'll get you your deep why. So every goal needs a why. The why is what gets you through the messy middle. When you lose your why, you will lose your way. If you want to figure out how, first figure out your why. Your why will give you your how. So that's smartery. So that's the first thing, to be more intentional. You've got to get to your purpose, to be more intentional, you've got to create smartery goals. And then when you get these goals, as I said, as far as the measurable, make sure you're breaking them down into, if it's an annual goal, make sure you're breaking it down into quarterly, and then monthly, and then weekly, and then daily. You know, this is the way I explain it. Let's imagine that I said, hey, I will give you your dream car. Think of your dream car right now, okay? I want you to think of that. Now let's say I'm going to give it to you, but there's a catch. I'll pay for everything, pay for licensing, insurance for life. I'll even pay for gas for life for your car. But there's a catch. I'm going to strip it down to the most basic nuts and bolts, the smallest components. And I'm going to stick it into 365 different garages. And you have 365 days, 1 year, to put this car back together. And if you put it back together 100% correct, then it is 100% yours. Everything paid for. Well, that might sound a little intimidating. In fact, that might sound a lot of intimidating. However, if I said, here's what I'm going to do for you, in those 365 garages, I'm going to put 3 parts and the instructions on how to put those parts together. All you got to do is go in there, work long enough to put those 3 parts together, and then leave. And then the next day you go to garage number 2, you roll up the door, you take the stuff you did from the day before, you move it into garage number 2, and you take the 3 parts there and you put them together with the stuff that you did the day before, and then you leave. And then day 3, you go in, you roll up the garage door, you take stuff from day 1 and 2 into garage 3. You take the stuff, the 3 things from garage 3, you put them together. If I did that and told you that at the end of the 365, if you did just focused on just 1 garage a day, that's it, you probably wouldn't feel so overwhelmed. You'd probably feel like, okay, I could get this done. That's what I mean by breaking down your annual goal. Instead of looking, you got to look at the big goal, you got to reconnect with it, but you got to do things every day that connect with that big goal. And that's how you reverse engineer it, by breaking it down into, well, what are my quarterly milestones? Where should I be by the end of first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and the end of the year? Where should I be at the end of month 1, 2, and 3 if I'm going to hit this quarterly goal? Where should I be at the end of these weeks? And you can literally reverse engineer it to the point where you just know the next right step every single day to work on your goal. So that's how you are more, again, that keeps you purposeful every single day, instead of wondering, well, what do I do today? What's the next step? How do we move forward on this? So that's exactly why you want that. And finally, it's never the perfect time. You've got to remember, it's never the perfect time to have a baby. It's never the perfect time to start a business. There will always be things in your way. There will always be things that are making you afraid to move forward. Things will not be perfect, but you need to move forward anyway. And if you move forward with purpose and intention, it is way less scary. I promise you, it is way less scary if you follow this smartery goal framework, if you reverse engineer your goals, and you keep your eye on your ultimate purpose, on your ultimate intention, and what you want to do and who you want to become. So listen, guys, I've rambled on for way too long, way longer than what I thought I would. Thank you for sticking with me. If you're still with me, give me a like, share, give me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you were still here with me. Give me a hashtag live. If not, give me a hashtag replay. But I'd love your feedback on this and what you think about this, what I've shared with you today. Definitely let me know what you think about the smartery goals, and feel free to let me know what your smartery goals are, what your purpose is, and how you're going to reverse engineer them. I'd love to hear that feedback from you guys. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.